Thank you for the opportunity to present what I do to the group today. My name is Joe Hooten with CC&R Consulting, that stands for College, Career, and Retirement. Primarily I work with students on the college side of things, but I see that it affects them through their career and ultimately through their retirement by learning this process. What I try to help families do is to reduce the cost of college and help the students capture as much free money as possible. And I don't know if y'all have paid much attention to it, given our ages and whether or not we have kids, but the cost of college has gone up enormously over the last many years. From 1978 to today, the cost of food has gone up about 200%, cars about 400%, and medical care about 600%. But college has gone up over 1,200%. The real scary part about that is college has increased. About half of that has just happened in the last 10 years. So that's a graph since '78, but just in the last 10 years, college has spiked way up above everything else. And there's a reason for that, and y'all may remember government cutbacks and things that we've heard for the last few years that have happened. Well, that has severely affected how much money that they help with paying for college for students, and to the tune of, it used to be about 70%, and it's dropped down to about 12, and therefore people have gone from 12 up to 70 or 80% of the cost that they have taken on a burden. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of untouched money that's out there that they can capture for college, and there's over $100 million a year that's not even applied for. No one even tries to get it. And we hear about colleges having a lot of money on campus. And they do have a lot of money on campus, and there's a lot of it that's available. Does anybody have any idea how much money in endowment money? And endowment money is money that people give to colleges when they die and they've been let down, and then they give, if they have anything left, they give it to their alma mater, or they do well in life and business and they donate money. Does anybody want to guess what kind of money that Harvard has?
Billions.
Billions.
You know, how many billions?
20 billion.
35.
Wow.
Yale has 23-ish. A&M has 11. Does anybody know how much University of Texas in Austin has?
Billion.
They just passed Yale this year. Now they have 25 billion. Now the way that works is straight endowment money. The college keeps it, and that's part of their credit rating and their financial strength, and to make them look big and strong. And the growth that they have occur on that money, about 5% may go towards somebody's education, but it doesn't mean that it will. And more so, it goes towards building new programs, hiring new professors. And unless the individual that gives the money specifies that it goes for a student, it may not, and probably will not. And when they specify money, if there's no one taking it, the college usually reapproaches the donor and says, can we put it back into the general fund since no one's come to take it based on your criteria? So they put it in the general fund, and then if that donor dies, now it's all in the general fund, and therefore it's not accessible again. So when we're working with families, we see a trend that's really bothering me, is that we're talking to juniors and seniors. That's better than what we talked to yesterday or day before yesterday, as a young lady that is signed up to start August the 24th, and she's working a job. She had to move out of home because a grandparent had to move in because of health reasons. She's got to pay rent, got to work. She's done nothing for college. She waited a year to start. She's got less than 20 hours of community service, and she called me because her dad said I might be able to help her with financial aid. Now, we're helping her. We're going to work with her to do as much as we can, but what has she done to prepare? If we can capture these students, you know, even a senior, but in your junior year in high school is when a college is building that freshman college class. And so they're looking at everything that junior has accomplished. And when you're a senior, you want to keep the grades up and keep doing the things you're doing, but it's almost a little late even as a senior to really impress a college. So physically with a student, we start working with them after 8th grade on what they are physically doing. But there's two sides to this whole process. There's the students' activities and their positioning to increase their marketability and how to market themselves to the college. But then there's also the family side and their finances. Because money all through the years has been based on two primary things, and that's need and merit. Everybody's probably heard about the highest grades, you know, get the free college, and that's true. And then through time, sports became a big part of the merit-based, and that's the best athletes getting the full ride scholarships. But merit-based is spread out to cover many, many more areas, to include bands, yearbook staff, student council, or community service. And community service is one of the biggest things that colleges look at now, because that's a student paying forward, but then they're going to ask a college to help them when it comes time to go to college. And if they've paid it forward in a lot of great ways, they stand out above the crowd. Does anybody want to guess at what the average number of hours of community service that colleges are seeing show up?
2.
2 hours. How about you? Y'all are more college age than the rest of us. How many hours do you think the colleges are expecting to see from somebody?
Expecting to see, I'd say at least 20.
200.
20?
I have no idea.
No idea. Did you say 200? The average is about 75 to 100, and a lot of that's through automatic programs. National Honor Society, 20 hours they get, or they have to get their court, or different things that they may be in sports, and all the football players have to get 10 for that school, or whatever it may be, and they participate in those. But even outside of that, we're seeing about 75 to 100 hours when we meet with families and students that they've done. So as a college is filling these 1,000 seats, and they have tens of thousands of students out there wanting those 1,000 seats, and they look out and they see 75 to 100 hours, but then they see a 200 over here and a 200 over here, or there's 20 people doing an interview board to try to get into a college, and everybody's got 100 hours except for 1 or 2 that have 150 or 200 hours. You can see how this starts setting yourself apart and making you look like somebody that, wow, look what they've done through their college or their high school life, and they've already shown that this is how they're going to be while they're in our college. But more importantly, it's what are they going to do when they graduate and go out into the world and represent us. And I don't know if y'all realize how competitive and business college is now. They do hopefully give you a good education, but they're about making money. And unfortunately, they want us to show up with as much as we'll show up with, but by doing all the things that we teach a student to do, they can capture the most money possible. But the average 60-hour bachelor's degrees graduate, and this is from the lowest cost to the smallest college to the highest cost and the biggest college. The average bachelor's degree graduate today is getting about $60,000 covered by federal assistance. And I don't know about y'all, but I hear more people that are having about a $60,000 loan or larger when they finish college. And today that's a big problem in our economy. Our students are staying at home. They're not buying their own homes. They're not stepping out because they have to consider this house payment bill that they have from college. And so to work on this early as possible in life is so much more dramatic on the effect that we can create. Is the things that they've done all their life, the things the family's done financially all their life to prepare, can maximize both the things that we work on. Now, on the financial side, Charlotte helps me with this completely, because a family that just goes based on knowledge of today and what they can shelter from colleges and the good ways to save, the programs, 529 college funds and stuff like that, they find that there is a trend that the money that they put through the programs that are set up, they have to report to the college, and they don't realize it, but reporting that money to the college can lose them need basis money. When a student goes to college, they have to fill out FAFSA, and they look at the cost of the college, and then they fill out the FAFSA, which is free application for federal student aid, to determine an EFC, which is the expected family contribution. If the college is $100,000 and the EFC is $30,000, they have a $70,000 need basis. But if that family has saved $20,000 in a 529, their need base is just reduced by 20 because they have to report that $20,000 that they have for college. And so doing things the wrong way can negatively affect the students' efforts, and there are only 3 places you can shelter money by putting it up, and saving it for whatever in the future without affecting college, and that's cash and life insurance, annuities, and your retirement account. And the cash and life insurance is one of the best tools, just like investing for retirement. Well, on the child side, there's child policies with certain companies that work really great with that, so you can put all the money you need to pay for college and not lose all that money by just handing it over later or doing their payback programs. The retirement deal, I want to mention that because there's a lot of people that don't realize how that works. And I even have seen some pages that say, here's how you can lower your cost. And it says, put extra money in your retirement. And people do that. Did you know that voluntary money that goes in a 401k counts towards college? And I don't know how that is, but magically it's not in your retirement account yet. It's going there. And you could have used it for college. And so they even encourage some people to lower your financial picture, to put extra money in your 401k. So a family that instead of putting 10 puts 20 extra, they now have shown $30,000 to the college that can lower their need basis money. So there's a very complicated process. It takes time, takes effort, and with a student and a family cooperation, we can help them lower the cost and capture more money. The goal is to have no cost, but we can't promise that. But we will work and help anybody as far and as hard as they want to work in this process. So, is there any questions?
What do you charge for your services, Joe?
I do not charge anything. It should not cost money to get free money. There's a lot of scams that come along every time there's a need in our society, whether it be a hailstorm, the roofing scams come out. There's the hurricanes. When it comes to college, there's a lot of places out there. Has anybody heard about the new app, Scully? It was on Shark Tank recently. This young man that's in college that says he got $1.3 million in free money and 2 full rides. He developed an app that you can put on your phone for 99 cents, super cheap, but if you get 99 cents from millions of potential students, he's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That app is supposed to specify the scholarships out there based on me. My interest, my GPA, what I plan on doing, all the things about me. And on Shark Tank, it was the biggest fight in history. Mark Cuban and Kersvich and Mr. Wonderful walked out because Damon and Lori just, oh, we love this. They didn't want to hear anymore. They just wanted to do it. Mark did get to ask, how many do you have in your database of scholarships? 10 to 20,000. And Mark was like, well, then it went downhill from there because everybody started wanting to ask the computer questions and all that. I actually had Charlotte get the app, so we suckered in for 99 cents, but I wanted to know about it. I changed my parameters at least 15 times. I got the same, about 100 scholarships of about 60 that are out of date, and I just kept getting the same ones over and over again. There's a lot of scams. I was in law enforcement for over 20 years and helped people like that, and I can't do that anymore because of injuries and surgeries. So this is what I do now to help people. I have my retirement and my Social Security, so this is no cost to a family because, like I said, there's too many people scamming them, and it doesn't and shouldn't cost money to get something that's free. It's just hard to find and hard to do, and we teach them how to do that. Any other questions? All right.
I do have one more
Yes, sir.
question. When we're talking to our clients, our loved ones, neighbors, etc., and we hear them say something that would remind us that we need to introduce them to you, what kind of things would we want to be listening for?
If there's any talk about kids and they're involved and want to help with their future, if a family doesn't care about their kids, that's why I want to try to capture them younger, because they still like them.
Right.
But if you hear that they're involved, there's select sports, they do everything they can for their kids, but kids is where it's at. If there's kids involved and there's a chance to go to college, we want to get involved with those families and show them what they need to do and plan properly. Like I said, the sad thing is we get more calls of the emergency. It's now time, and
Right.
we haven't done anything. And we still can make differences even after the fact with some forgiveness programs. But the massive difference we can make on the front side is well worth just let us talk to everybody that has children.
Excellent.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
As most of you know, I'm involved in a service organization called Kiwanis International. We have various levels of clubs. We work with builders clubs in the middle school, key club in the elementary school, or in the high school, and CKI in college. It seems that we provide scholarships through various organizations in Kiwanis. Would your service be of help to some of these students? Because these students are coming from poor backgrounds.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we got a level of poverty here in which kids get 1 meal a day, period. It's federally funded. And this works all the way through into their high school until they get to college. Would your program work for some of these kids?
It works excellent for those kids. The more complicated ones are the ones that families that make over $100,000 a year.
Yeah. No,
But if they make below $60,000 or $65,000 a year, they can go to Harvard, Yale, Duke, free. I mean, it says zero cost to the family at those levels. But even at 120, 150, they can still go to those places. They just pay 12 or 15%. But low-income families are kids that come from foster care and adoption. If they've been in the foster care and adoption system for 2 years or longer, or if they're adopted after the age of 16, I believe, there is zero cost for them to go to college. And these families don't know this. They don't even know to pass it on to the children.
Yeah.
So to get in front of anybody, especially the low income, they have more opportunities. There are some requirements still that they make some decent grades, but you have to understand that colleges have to allow any and everybody to be able to come and sit in those seats because they're federally funded, every seat, not just the full free ride. Every seat has some federal funding, so they have to allow for some opportunity for anybody to come in. And so yes, they have more opportunity.
So what you're saying, at-risk children
Yes, they
are, as we term them nowadays, would be well for that.
Yes, sir.
Craig, are you still involved in Rotary?
Not as much, but Rotary's a great organization as well.
Yeah, and
Worldwide.
they've got
Fantastic.
a high school program too, they could work with that.
Right.
I have a question. Can someone make too much money and expect no free scholarship, free money for college?
Well, that's the big question is how early can we start and what if we make too much money? I see scholarships that have nothing to do with the college, nothing to do with whether or not you've applied or filled out FAFSA. And in those cases, anybody can go for those dollars. There's, like I said, over $100 million in scholarships that no one even tries for. It does not have a restriction of how much income the family has. Some of them don't even have GPA or grade requirements. Some of them, literally, it's a comedian looking for material. And so he'll put a scholarship of $1,000 out there and submit your joke or your funny story, and I'll select a winner. And he's just building material for his stand-up comedy. And there's money for any and everything out there. So too much money and income? No, there's still money. If the students are willing to learn, to search and find the scholarships, then they can still get it.
Excellent. Awesome.